see if I can get Instagram going. Hello there, Patrick and Brendan. Hey there. Hi. Oh, there we go. Wild Woman with Wine is joining us. Let's see if I can get her on here. What? Oh, there we go. It's stuck. Oh, it worked.
Hello.
Hello, gorgeous.
Hello, honey. How are you?
Doing well. How are you doing? Are you feeling better?
I'm doing good today. It's a good day. It's beautiful and got a good walk in this morning and
Get that body moving.
move it. Yep.
Got to move it, move it. Hey,
Yeah.
Matt, how are you?
I do need to spend a little more time upside down, though. I think I've realized that.
Oh, yeah. Up
Yeah.
against the wall or up in.
The anti-gravity.
Oh, okay. We're not going to go anything further than that. What's going on, people? Join us and say hi and tell us where you're from and all that good stuff.
So Wild Women with Wine, Thursday night. Here we are.
You got any wine?
I do have a little wine tonight.
Oh, you never know. I feel like we got the straight flush when we got the same wine.
Yes.
Cheers.
Inversion table? Nope, not an inversion table. I just like to do handstands, headstands, down dogs, things like that.
I can't do a lot of that with my.
No. How is it?
It's hanging in there.
Is it?
For those of you who don't know, I had transportation of my ulnar nerve. I'm probably saying that wrong. Transposition. They moved my nerve. Brendan, I thought you were somewhere else. You're in upstate New York now. I thought for some reason I thought you were in Florida. I get everybody confused with where they're from.
So you had one nerve and somebody was on it, huh? So you had to have a move your nerve.
I had to move my nerve, and yeah, it's fine. It's all fine. What are you gonna do?
Well, I'm glad you're doing so well. You did seem to breeze through it.
I know. I'm wondering if you did anything because it still feels the same.
Oh no.
But I'm sure it takes a while.
Oh.
What a nerve. Good one, Matt.
She's got nerve.
She's got that doctor has a lot of nerve not to fix me.
Right?
All right. So I know we had some discussion topics tonight that you wanted to get to.
Which ones? I did have something. Well, I copied it. Let me see if I can find it.
What a nerve. It's I never heard of this before, ulnar nerve. It's not the carpal tunnel one. It's the one up where your elbow is. Hey there, Mrs. Elv. How you doing? I got to say that wine, if you don't drink it a lot, which I've been minimally drinking, goes right to my head.
Well, the first thing I would like to announce is I've been doing some writing. So I've I've been like on a writing spree. So if you go to my website, to the blog, you'll see all the latest blogs I've written. I wrote I'm really proud of it, on transgenderism.
Nice.
It really
Hi, Amanda.
explains it. It shows science. It has references. So for people who really do want to have a deeper understanding of it, that don't just want to plead ignorant or maybe say things that are harmful to others, I think if you want to, expand your knowledge, I've laid it all out there for you with lots and lots of information. So hopefully, because there's so much science that's happening in that arena.
Totally.
The recent stuff is very exciting in that they did brain scans on cisgendered people, which is where you identify as the same gender that you were assigned at birth, and then transgender people. And they discovered that trans men, which was born a male that didn't identify with male, becomes a female. So actually that's a trans woman. So that trans women, their brains actually are much more similar to a cis woman than they are to a cis male.
That makes sense.
And vice versa. So they're starting to see that, because this whole idea of gender is so made up, and we don't even we just kind of have thought it to be binary for so long, even though historically all the way back to the Greek days, ancient times, multiple genders, multiple sexualities, those were all considered very normal. So it's fascinating when you really start to look at it on a let me learn, let me get more knowledgeable basis. So I hope you go to my website, drnsp.com, and go to the blog. And I've got my husband now writing. So he just did a little blurb on the mentality of mass shootings.
Oh no.
So we're taking on all the topics.
Well, I was going to say that I went to see my friend who was a comedian, Monique Marvez, and there was a whole lineup of ladies. It was like Mermaid Night at the lab in California. And there was one trans woman there. So she was born with male parts, but she looks exactly like a woman. And she was a comedian. She was talking about that she is with a trans man. So someone who was born a woman and they didn't even, that wasn't the reason they found each other. They just were attracted to each other. So it took me a while to figure, okay, wait. So this one is this and this and this and this, and they're together, yeah.
Well, and the other thing that I found fascinating as I was doing my research was how few trans people actually do the complete top and bottom surgery.
Yeah, one of my friend's daughters took off her breasts. And really fascinating, because she came out as trans before it was even a name that was even popular. She was calling herself the fifth gender.
Yeah, there's so many configurations that we're discovering now in our genetics, that it is confusing. It's a lot to learn. It makes your head kind of explode when you start talking about it. I understand people's frustration with it. But I think just because we're frustrated with our lack of information doesn't mean that we should condemn an entire group of people because we don't understand them. So Sumra says she-male are trans. Well, first of all, she-male's an antiquated term. What you're really talking about is intersex, which is people born with ambiguous genitalia, meaning that they appear to have both. And there's lots of different configurations. So that's not a trans person.
Brendan would like to know why no one else is writing stuff in the chat. So if you guys have stuff to write, probably because I've been listening and not scrolling to see who's going on here. We had someone who wanted to join our chat. His name is Mario. If you'd like Mario to join.
So our photo, is it Matt? Matt, our photo guy?
Yes.
Matt, yeah. So he said he has a few friends that are trans. Somebody's known since he was 15. That's cool. I mean, I think we all, my generation, Karen and my generation, when I look back, there were lots of people that I went to high school with that were non-binary. They were probably, if we would have given them the space, would have said they were trans, but we didn't have that language.
Right. So that's what I'm saying.
They were just very masculine girls or very feminine boys, but we didn't, think about tomboys, that phrase, or effeminate men. So I think those terms we were trying to understand these varieties, but I don't think we were doing a very good job of really being fully accepting of this is real. I mean, a person who feels like they're in the wrong body.
Yeah, there's some really good movies out from like the 80s. Damn, of course I can't remember the name of the damn movie, but it was like the first.
Oh, that was it was about that woman, a trans woman from Europe. Yeah.
Something. Right? I don't know from Europe, but
well.
Oh gosh.
One of my
Mrs. Elvin,
friends is a surgeon, and he was one of the first. He was a general surgeon and a colorectal surgeon, and he's one of the first surgeons in the United States that created a new vagina.
That's awesome. I interviewed Buck Angel, who said he was the first person to go through hormone therapy. And Buck Angel, he's a porn star,
he's amazing,
and he looks like a rough and tough lumberjack.
There's no doubting that Buck is a man.
Yeah, no doubt.
He just happens to have a vagina and a vulva.
Amanda.
I can't see
Buck is an
my thingy froze.
Oh, she said Buck is an icon. The Danish girl? No, but I remember seeing that was a good one. It was called something with a boy in it.
Maybe it was Danish. Yeah. That was probably the 80s.
How Blair you asks, can a 19-year-old guy date a woman older than 50? So, by the way, Robert De Niro's partner just had a baby, a 7th child or something like that. Robert De Niro.
Oh, yeah.
And no one would question that he's with someone who's like 40 years younger than him, maybe more, probably 45 or 50. No one says anything about that, so who cares? That's right.
But I think 19 with
a 50-year-old
over 25 is probably, I mean, in terms of a solid relationship, is probably going to be very difficult because your brain's not even fully developed until you're 26 to 28.
And that's debatable too.
What's that? And that's debatable. Yeah, speaking of debatable, you didn't watch the CNN show last night, did you?
I did catch a little bit about that. We're talking about our favorite president, our favorite ex-president, coming up with a spin on things. Like it's almost pathological. It is pathological.
He's just a fucking liar.
Okay.
I mean, he just lies. He flat out lies, and he repeats it as if it's fact. That's the crazy part. I mean, that's when you know somebody's pathologic, is when they can look you in the eye and they can lie with such confidence. Like, what the hell? That's not a well person.
Not a well person. But somehow he believes it. Brendan said it's his favorite president with a green face. Robbie Bush has a question. What does eating AXX do for women? It's a legit question. I don't think he's being...
Eating axe?
Yes. Eating an axe. What would that do for women? I mean, a lot of women would love that because it's an erogenous zone. I can't say I speak for anybody but myself, but I could tell you that I know other people that enjoy that. So.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of nerve endings there, and like a lot of the rest of the body, and whatever blows somebody's skirt up, it's cool.
That wine.
I love that phrase.
Whatever is blowing the skirt.
Whatever blows your skirt up.
It reminds me of Dave Matthews. Hike up your skirt a little more and show the world to me. Of course, I'm a big Dave Matthews.
The upskirt thing. That wasn't there some guy that just got that worked at Disney that just got arrested for upskirt photoing all the guests? Oopsie daisy.
Oh, what happened?
Oh, he got arrested. He's going to jail.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Good
You're
reference.
Not supposed to do that without someone's consent. It's like, let's talk about consent. I mean, we have an ex-president that should be a great conversation starter about consent.
And then we don't. I was listening to a podcast about not DeSantis, the other one, Santos.
What's that?
Now, the wine is getting to me because I'm like, okay, what was his name? Santos from Texas.
Oh, DeSantis is Florida.
No, I'm thinking of Santos.
He's from New York.
New York, okay. That one is another, like, lunatic.
Wasn't there a movie with Leonardo DiCaprio that was about some guy that was just a total fraud?
Yeah, Catch Me If You Can.
What was it called? Catch Me If You Can.
Yeah.
I swear to God, this guy's trying to model his life after that.
George Santos. Thank you, Matt. What would I do without you because otherwise George.
Have you been taking your ginkgo?
It ain't working. Maybe Matt is taking the ginkgo. Without consent is rape.
I mean,
yes.
and he's another one. I swear to God, where are these lying sack of shits coming from?
They're all
he's
over.
Another one that will just look you in the eye and confidently lie.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so scary. That's a sociopath.
But if you think about like Spitzer on the he got reprimanded. There was a whole movie that he did about, that was about him and what he did to these, people and young prostitutes and things like that. And then he was reprimanded, and then he ran again, and he did it again because they think they have they're omnipotent.
Yes.
People in power think that they can get away with shit, and they do.
Yep. Well, I mean, and most of these people are white men who believe that they are supreme.
And they are. I'm being sarcastic.
Amanda
says
I think they really are the supreme beings. And man, we need to knock those little fuckers down a notch.
Well, Amanda is, she's a youthful one. One of my close friends is a sex educator with Planned Parenthood, and she goes to middle and high schools to talk about sex. What do you guys think the best age to introduce sex ed in school is?
Kindergarten. You start with consent.
How about preschool?
Preschool. Birth. When you're naming your baby's parts, start by sex ed. It's like, these are all the parts, and name everything, and don't skip the whole center section.
When I was growing up, because my dad was a doctor, we were only supposed to say the technical terms. We did not say wee, and poo-poo. We said defecate and urinate. Right.
I mean, and that makes you feel more like, this is your eye, and that's your penis.
Yeah, it's not your pee-pee.
These are body parts. They're just parts.
You're from Tunisia? Nice to meet you there. Welcome to our show, The Wild Women with Wine Show, every Thursday night, Pacific Standard Time.
I have to give my pussy a little treat.
Oh, well, that's so nice of you to give your pussy a treat. Hey there, how have you been? It's been a long time. Hey, John, we've been here. I
What's that?
No, I was telling Jonathan, I think he missed out on the last couple of sessions because we've been here.
Uh-oh.
What is one sexy thing or trait you think is underrated and one which is overrated? What Mrs. Alf comes smashing in there with these great questions. So what's one sexy thing?
I got the one that's underrated.
All right, so you're going to do the one that's underrated first? Let's do that. It's sexy thing.
The ability and willingness to dance.
Underrated?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. If someone doesn't want to dance, I will actually, it's funny that you mentioned that because I was in a bar. I think I told the story on this show before that I was in a bar. I asked the guy to dance, a cute guy, and he's like, "Oh, I don't dance." I go, "Well, you must not be very good in bed then." All his friends died. They were laughing so hard.
Yeah, you better learn to move those hips, boy.
Well, it also says like, how buttoned up people can be. I mean,
yeah.
You go if you have a sense of humor and you want to dance, and if you even play an instrument, women are going to be clamoring for you. I always went for those guys in high school and even junior high that played in a band.
Well, you've always been a groupie.
I'm a groupie now. I'm still the groupie. I love those colors on you. Those are pretty. So anyway, one sexy.
So what's the overrated one?
What is overrated? It's all about your penis. That's overrated.
Definitely.
Mrs. L, what do you think? Wait, just realized there's a WWW show Instagram page. Yes, Amanda. Yes, we started that about a year ago, right? How long?
Please follow us. Please follow us on the WWW. It sounds like we're wrestlers.
We're wrestlers.
The women wrestling.
The reason, yeah, we don't typically do that because we don't go on that because we don't have enough followers. Once we get more followers, we'll do it. Your hair got longer. Wait, so who said my hair got longer? My hair.
Women with Wine Show, WWW. Yeah.
Wait, he just said my hair got longer. My hair got shorter. I just cut it.
Did you cut it long?
I cut it longer. Thank you, Amanda. What is that? There's
somebody with a blower outside my window.
Someone's giving you a blowjob outside your window.
Right. Hopefully he will go by quickly.
Well, Amanda, what is one sexy thing that you or trait that you think is underrated and one that's overrated? We want to hear from you guys, all our little followers here, Mrs.
Yeah. So what sexy thing is underrated and what sexy thing is overrated?
Underrated hands.
What was that?
She said that underrated is hands. Your hands are underrated. Yeah. Overrated is having the same interests. That's an interesting quality too.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
That was very profound as usual, Mrs. Elv.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think a lot of people think, well, I don't have anything in common with this person. Well, but
that's good.
If you have interest, if you're both interesting people,
you can learn from each other.
You can share all of those new things and turn people on to things that they may not ever been exposed to.
That certainly happened to me with music.
With all your groupie guys?
Well, all my groupie guys, no. When I was single and also with my boyfriend now, they turned me on to some really good alternative music that I was always more into pop and show tunes and stuff like that. But I got really into alternative music, like a Dave Matthews Band, that kind of thing. I think any music that was playing when I was raising my kids, I missed out on because I was too busy listening to Sesame Street and Barney and rap.
Music, movies, any kind of theater stuff. I mean, all of the arts, like from the age of birth to 8, it's like, I don't know any of that stuff.
Well, because we were sitting there having babies all the time.
Little busy, yeah. A little busy.
Anyway, if there's anybody else that wants to hop on, Amanda, what do you think is the most underrated and overrated in terms of sexiness? Jonathan, what are your do's and don'ts when it comes to talking about sex, like spicing up your sex life? Talking about it? There are no don'ts.
Yeah, I was going to say, don'ts? Why would you have don'ts?
Don't have any don'ts. By the way, I have got to turn you on to Amorous. It's such a fun, it's a game. And they sponsor our podcast, but it's AMOROUS, AMOROUS Oh, shoot. Well, if someone could look it up for me, because of course I don't have the information in front of me, but I think the code is, mom, you get a free trial. It's a way that you can sext um, back and forth with your partner.
Oh, fun.
You will have such a fun time with it, Nance. You can do like a sexy picture, like you can send, and it only goes to the one person, and if you try to take a screenshot of it, they say there's a warning, you can't take screenshots. What I like is, like, if you're texting,
Brilliant.
if you're sexting with your boyfriend or your husband or your partner, whatever you're texting, it's not in the middle of like your chain of texts, like pick up the groceries and you know find the laundry. It's like, thank you for the badge, Ron. It's really fun, is because it doesn't. It's a special little app that you can only go back and forth on.
So I don't know if you know this about me, but I created a social media site for a while there, and it was called the Exotic Lifestyle Club.
I'm aware of that. I don't know
You're
what
aware of
happened.
that? You remember that?
It was not too long ago until you had quite a following. I think you had like 20,000 people following you.
Well, it was. I built a whole website. So it was.
Is it still
it was
up?
a membership. It was membership only. It was a paid membership.
Yeah.
People, we had people could put in articles, write sexy stories. I had all different aspects of eroticism. They could share pictures, but I was able to set the site up so that every photo that everybody posted had a watermark on it.
Right. Even though watermarks, though, you still maybe wouldn't want to share that with anybody. So this thing, if you
right.
So this one also,
and it disabled the screenshot
right capability.
Right.
So with this one, it's called Amorous. You take the picture and then it converts to a puzzle, and your partner has to figure out what the puzzle is.
That's fun.
I think you're gonna love this app. I have to get you the codes, but
okay,
remind me later.
Get us the codes.
I think it's like free for the first several days or whatever, and then they give you a box of cards too, like funny questions like what we're talking about with the what's underrated, overrated, that kind of thing.
That's fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of ways to get your sexy back.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna need that because my husband is actually officially pretty much retired now. So
I'm bringing sexy back. Yeah. Well, you guys will have, I guarantee, a fun time with this.
Sounds great. So what else is everybody thinking? I can't see any of the comments that are coming through.
So
it's completely frozen on my end. So
okay, so
what
Ron,
are people saying? I'm sitting here in the dark.
Ron said written eroticism is the most stimulating IMO stuff.
Good.
A lot, and we have so many good sponsors that are doing like Educated and Educated is really, like, they have hundreds of people on there that are in all different topics. Again, I have the code. I think it's mom, and you get discount. If it's not mom, I forgot what it was. It could be sex. One of these days, I'm going to have all our codes up here, and you can, if you just go to sex, go to Sex Talk with My Mom. I bet you all the codes.
I sent you a thing to put those on your link tree.
Right, I think it's on Linktree.
Okay.
But if it's not, it's probably on Sex Talk with My Mom show notes in the podcast sections or on the website.
I still need to join your group to be a part of your.
Oh, you got to join patreon.com/Sex Talk with My Mom, and you guys can join you would have fun at that. I think we're having a party tomorrow night on Zoom. Hello there, Mac. I'm going to say hi to. I've been ignoring all the people on YouTube. Sorry about this. Jonathan said, what I find overrated is role play because my girlfriend is really into mean. Really, she has very operated backstories. I mean, very elaborate backstories. What I find overrated is role playing. Oh, overrated? Because she's okay. Jonathan, be a little clear. I'm so sorry. I never was a fan of that gender dynamic. What gender dynamic? Hello.
Yeah, what gender dynamic? I never was a fan of gender dynamic. What? Explain that.
Initiator hater 0688. Floyd, the sweetest fruit. What are you talking about? Somebody in my I talked about this on the podcast. Someone said some comment, like a rude ageism comment, and he said something like, if the wrapper is crinkly, the fruit is there, the candy is still sweet.
Wrappers crinkly.
The candy's still. Ah.
Oy vey.
Oh my God. All right. What does this say here? I mentioned above as to what I'm talking about. All right. That means I have to go back up.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
That's work.
Yeah.
Gotta help us out with the work.
As
and we do have badges here on Instagram. So if you're on
Instagram.
Are you on just Instagram or are you on
Instagram and YouTube?
What?
Instagram and YouTube. YouTube also, you can, if you guys are on YouTube, you can give a donation to this little money box, but so far that hasn't been activated.
Or if they want to see both of us, they could come over to your Instagram.
Yeah, come on over to Instagram. Hey there, Ron, he's traveling. That's fun. How do you guys talk about consensual, non-consent kink? Says Amanda. I think you just have to have those safe words and really have a good trust in each other.
Yeah, I mean, I think each pairing, we'll say, or each relationship formation has to be able to build their foundation of definition. Every relationship is a unique merging of two people or three people or five people or however many people, and what their boundaries are, what their wants and needs are, and they have to negotiate that. And I call it designer relationships. So if you're in a relationship, you need to constantly be having conversations about what are you thinking, what are you fantasizing about, and not only be able to speak that, but also be able to, without judgment or immature emotional response, hear what your partner's saying. Because I can tell you, one time where you shamed or guilted or went into the jealousy thing about what your partner's thinking will shut them down. They won't share with you. So you have to have some emotional maturity to be able to go into these.
Right. The kink thing is
the different lanes. Yeah.
Right. And you also both have to understand one person's like limits are different than the other person's limits.
Yeah, of course. And you have to be able to accept that you're two different people coming from completely different places. And, I really look at our intimate relationships as a privilege to walk this journey with another person side by side. But by no means are we in control of each other.
No.
By no means do we have any say what the other person does, thinks, wants, fantasizes about.
No.
None of that. That's not our right as humans, is to control another person. It's a privilege that they would open up
and share stuff.
Into that vulnerable space and share those dark, deep secrets,
Sure.
Those are what we protect those with all of our might, because we're so afraid of rejection and judgment
and insecurity in ourselves.
And what?
Being insecure in ourselves.
Yeah. So, and I think those things are built over time. When I have couples get mad at one because, he's never told me that he likes this or that. And I said, well, what makes you think it's your right to know everything he's thinking?
Or why don't you ask?
Well, and maybe he didn't feel safe enough to share that with you yet.
Right.
That's to really share some of our our more what we would call taboo
Right.
subjects, those take a lot of trust, and that's earned.
Mrs. Elf said, "Well said, Dr. Nancy. So beautiful." That's Nancy. Beauty
Thank you.
inside and out. Okay. Nothing sweeter than juice from peaches. Nothing sweeter than juice from peaches. Tasting them freshly from the trees. Floyd. That was very poetic, Floyd.
That's a poet.
Yeah. And now we got CIU3SS says cat piss and wine time. This guy's a real charmer here. What? Well, that. Lots of status, afraid they would tell others if the relationship ends. Oh,
Right.
that's a good point too.
And that's when I teach the Oasis. That's the first conversation in the Oasis, is to really set up that dynamic of privacy and trust, and that if you break it, you're done. You're
No,
just
but
done.
even if you break it, there should be some sort of
Should be punished.
Well, just no. What I mean is, if you guys break up, whoever your partner is, that doesn't give you the right to share any secrets that were shared in the relationship.
Right.
That just means you're an evil person.
Well, and I think we've actually got laws about that now for people that share like naughty pictures and things like that. They call it revenge porn.
Oh, I know.
And it's a felony. So, you don't want to do that.
I think I again spoke on one of these platforms about this guy who took a bunch of pictures of his girlfriend naked, and then when they broke up, he was angry, so he put it all over the Facebook. Nice.
Well, that guy's not going to get it. He's not going to get much going forward. I can tell you that.
I mean, this was literally like right when Facebook was popular. Facebook's not so popular.
Yeah, who goes to Facebook anymore?
The taboo burning bush is not a felony. Proverb 31. She openeth her mouth and with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness. Thank you. Thank you for that. What's up, all you people? I'm sorry. I'm being very bad about getting all these. I don't understand why you're not able to move your screen.
I can't. It won't even move. It's like frozen.
I wonder if I move. Okay. It's making me move with my wounded arm.
Oh, no. So if you have any questions for us, you had some great questions. Mrs. Elf always has the best questions.
She's good.
So,
all
really
right.
great.
Should we let Mario on? I don't know if he's still there.
Do we know who Mario is?
No.
Oh, yeah. That's risky. Does Mario know the rules?
All right, we'll find out.
Oh, jeez. You're brave. We've had that happen before.
Dave wants to know, Karen, when will you start yourself an OF site? I mean, both Nancy and I had looked into it, and we both decided that we are not going to be going in that direction. The closest I get to that is Patreon, and it's sadly nothing explicit whatsoever. I want a date with Karen.
I think if here's the thing. As mature, educated, qualified,
independent, successful
really
cougars,
brilliant freaking women, we don't need that shit. We're not desperate.
Right.
And I think people who are desperate for cash,
which is fine, we're not telling. And by the way, you don't even have to be desperate. If that's your thing and you want to do that, that's fine. It's just not me and Nancy. We don't like when someone else tells us what to do. It drives me crazy.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of being bossed.
Thank you, Robbie, for the badge. Leave some mystery. Pretty sure Karen spoke about it. Yeah, I'm in a relationship for 15 years already with the same person.
That's funny. I'm in a relationship for 15 years, but 5 people, but I've been 15 years.
I was talking about my friend today, and she's like, yeah, kind of like when I'm in a relationship, I stay with that person. I go, so you're a serial monogamous. She goes, exactly. You know,
Yeah. Serial monogamous.
let's see. Yeah, so if you guys have other questions, lay them on us, even though my screen is frozen as well. So
Yeah, I'm not happy with Instagram tonight. I mean,
Instagram is being very glitchy.
Why don't they show me the doodahs? Like,
dude,
be nice.
Oh, so I'm just waving at everybody now. How long is your arm going to be in recovery for? I didn't even show you guys. It's pretty scary looking. Yikes. Where is it? There it is. Ow. Buddy, that's loud. Come here, bud. Yeah.
Looks good. Looks like it's healing great.
I'm healing great. And the good thing is it's like under my armpit, so it's okay. Is California a good place to find a cougar or Las Vegas, Nevada? Joshua would like to know. All right, Bud, come here. Look what I got for you. Come here. He's talking to us.
There's no cougar habitat.
There's like a cougar like den in the mountains. But I can't guarantee that they're humans. They're not of the human species.
I think that the question to ask yourself is, can you handle a woman that has incredible maturity, wisdom, knowledge, insight, desire, honesty, integrity? Can you handle that?
Yeah, and if you
are you man enough?
Are you?
To handle that?
I think that they are. Here we got Tay saying, I saw an older woman on the train. I was scared to say hi. You got to do the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Your brain in 5 seconds is going to tell you not to do something, but you're never going to know unless you try it. I say, don't miss that opportunity. Don't do that James Blunt song like, what is it? He saw a woman on the train and the train left. He never said anything. Don't be that guy.
Man, those missed opportunities they haunt you.
I'm still upset that I never said hello to Michael Douglas once and I saw him in a hotel.
Right? See, now I stood next to John Travolta and I touched him.
I kissed Roger Daltrey on the lips. These lips. Yes.
Did you never wash them again?
I never washed them again. Since I was 19, I saw The Who. We got to go backstage and somehow I literally think he came up to me and he kissed me.
Yeah.
He's still pining away from you, that Roger Daltrey. Man, what the hell are you laughing about? Roger and I are like this. We haven't spoken in a long time.
They call him Raj.
And he goes, Matt asked if there was consent. Yes, there was definitely consent on both of our parts. There's no question about it. But I was listening to that Trump talking when they were talking about him in the dressing room at like some fancy ass store. And like, what was he doing? Jesus.
I mean, I got a
what? I forget.
Of what they were talking about, and it sounds like he fingered her.
It sounds like he pulled his dick out and put it in her for a couple minutes.
I don't know.
She said that he did. Yeah.
Maybe, but
I trust her.
I don't know how he could do that with what he has, based on what Stormy Daniels has said, if she was standing up.
Oh, so it might have been the finger. All right.
I think it was probably the finger.
Wait, Matt.
But that's still a rape.
Hold the phone here.
When you put a part of your body into another person's body, that is rape.
I don't think anybody's going to take issue with that. Matt said he knows someone else that hung out with him in Montana. And you photographed him, Matt? I'd love to see your photo collections. Matt is fun. He must have like the most amazing photos of different rock stars and whatever, celebs.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right, what else is going on? I'm going to wave at everybody again. I don't know. If you guys have any questions, we got about 8 more minutes left, and we're going to be saying arrivederci. Okay, we're gonna get some links for Matt's pictures.
Oh, awesome.
All right. So anyway, if anyone is just joining us, we're the Wild Women with Wine show every Thursday night Pacific Standard Time, and we would welcome any kind of questions you have, comments. Could be about anything. What happened to your arm? My arm, well, I had surgery because apparently these two fingers were getting affected by my constant texting.
She has chronic phone use syndrome.
I do. So
it's called TikTokitis.
it's called TikTokitis, and I developed it during COVID. I mean, during COVID. Yeah, during the period of COVID, I definitely did a number on my arm, but hopefully I'm on the mends.
You seriously need, after you mend, you need a balanced life of yoga and TikToking.
Yes, I do.
You
Preferably doing it at the same
the
time.
damage you're doing.
I should do it at the same time. Yoga and TikTok at the same time.
I don't think that's possible because you have to bring your arms back here behind you.
Oh man.
To undo and open up those pathways.
Thank you.
Because when your hands are all right here and you're holding your phone.
Yeah, it's not good.
Not good.
No.
I mean, it's repetitive use injury. It's what people get who work on a freaking assembly line.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you push the button this way, you push the button this way, you push the button. It's like when you do that,
can you imagine?
a million times,
yeah,
you're gonna get a tennis elbow.
Yeah, but the doctor actually said it could be genetic. He wasn't 100% sure that it was just
on just one side.
Apparently, there's a little demarcations on the other side too.
Oh Jesus. That's because you've been having to use that arm because the other one hurt. It's like all right. So every orthopedic patient I've ever had, when you put a cast on one leg,
the other one hurts.
Suddenly the other one starts to hurt because they're overusing that one. So yeah. I mean,
good evening to you, Kurt. I mixed up using my index finger only. Oh boy. Well,
you need to use all five. They're all good.
Yeah, keep using those fingers. Anyway, all right. Well, if you want to find,
so Karen,
yes.
Tell us, how can people follow your brilliance and your creative juices that you've got flowing all the time?
Oh my gosh.
Artsy, craftsy, whatever you're doing. How can they find you?
I think KarenLee Potter everywhere and Sex Talk with My Mom everywhere. It'd be great if you follow me on Sex Talk with My Mom because I love that podcast. It's my fun place, my happy place.
My God, it's so fun.
Yeah,
you and Cam. I mean, you have the greatest kids. I've only met one of them, but I've heard about and talked about two. You know, I feel like I know the other ones. But if Cam is an example of the children you've raised, the adults you've raised some really incredibly talented, wonderful adults.
Thank you, and I have to say the same to you. I have not met your kids, but I heard lots about them, and they seem to be very much in the spirit of yourself.
You know, that brings me to, somebody was talking today about how religion, often people use religion as the method to make people good people. And my oldest granddaughter, who's almost 21, she did
have him when she was 12. Okay, listen.
Yeah, when she was in high school, she was very good friends with a Mormon family, and the Mormons family said to her, "You're such a good person. How could that be if you're not religious?"
Hi.
Boy, my husband took major offense to that. That's when he came out as
A badass?
an atheist. He's
Oh.
like, you know what? We haven't indoctrinated our kids with any religion, and they're all incredible human beings.
Right.
They're all giving. They're teachers. They're creators. They're kind. They're loving. They're non-judgmental.
I mean, who
They're
would want you as a
open-minded.
parent?
Yeah, it's like, what do you mean? Religion is the one thing that tends to fuck people up the most and create. I mean, if you look at all the wars in our history,
Always
and
because of the
religious
religion.
based,
Yeah.
all religion is taking rights away from us right now. So don't give me this crap about religion being the good thing when we have great people out there that we're absolutely not indoctrinated with religion. So I'll just say this about that.
And where can they find you, by the way, in your lovely...
My website, drnsp.com, Dr. Nancy Sutton Pierce. And
That's her, by the
my
way.
husband's a physician. He's an internal medicine doctor, and I'm encouraging him to start. He's a great writer, amazing
Like,
writer.
I'm going to read it. It's on your blog?
Yeah. So I'm starting to publish his things onto my stuff until we can build his website. But yeah.
Good call. One last question from Mrs. Elv. She said, what is something you never part with? Can't be your husband.
My passion.
Oh, I was thinking something material things. You're thinking something much more ephemeral. I think I've never part with it. I have a little statue over there of my dad that I made when I was like 19. And he's on a bicycle and he was a doctor and he had a stethoscope on. I couldn't, I don't think I could part with that. But
That's so cute.
Yeah. Sentimental shit I can't part with.
Yeah. Those things are, that's like our connection to the past.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you guys, it is about that time.
Thank you, Mrs. L, for always the most insightful,
Questions.
mind-opening questions.
I would love it.
We love you, and we will welcome you anytime.
And if you want to tell us what's something you would never part with, please put it in the chat right here. Is there?
What would you never part with?
Yeah, what would you never part with? And anybody else here that I'm waving at, what would you never part with? Mine would be my phone. No, I was kidding.
So here's a thought provoker as we move forward to next week. Women are taught to recognize the patterns of male violence.
Oh,
women aren't taught to recognize the patterns of male violence, but instead romanticize them.
that's scary.
That boy who yanked your pigtails, he did that because he liked you. The brother who scared off any boy you liked, he was protecting you. The boyfriend who told you to lengthen your skirt, he loved you. The older guy who preyed on you, he admired you. That husband who punched a hole in the wall in the middle of an argument, he needed you to fix him. The male boss who's always inappropriate, he couldn't resist you. And then, when those romanticized patterns of male violence escalated to end up as our broken skin, broken bones, broken hearts, we're blamed. How could you not see the signs?
Right.
Why would you dress like that? Why would you left him? So as we go into this next week and this next election cycle, women, please be thinking about how we've been conditioned, how we've really been brainwashed about male behavior, how it's affected us, and what we would like to see change. Let's talk about that next time.
All right. Well, before we talk about that, Mrs. Alva is going to tell you, we asked her if she would tell us what her response is, and she said, it's my pleasure, my values, and my anklet. I would love to know what the meaning of that anklet is for you.
Yeah.
And Matt said, my camera, because he's a photographer,
Yeah.
and my inquisitive personality.
Love it.
I love it. You guys are awesome. We'll see you next week.
Okay, so are we here next week?
Yes, we are.
Okay, all right. Next week, back, same time, same station, 5
time.
p.m.-ish
Yep.
on Thursday Pacific
PST.
time. And send us your questions in advance. Send them to Wild Women with Wine on Instagram. Please follow us.
Yeah,
everybody.
follow us on Instagram.
Whoever's on YouTube and Instagram, follow us because this is Karen and my channel. So we share it, and we're going to be doing more lives from this channel. But we got to build our followership so that it's worthwhile.
We're going to do that. Thank you, Mrs. Elf, again. And thank you for Matt and everybody else who has joined us. Bye. We love you.
See you next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, Karen. Love you.
Love you.